Right, so in recent weeks, former President Jacob Zuma has criticised the judiciary, accusing Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo of being biased. He's also taken aim at the Constitutional Court, claiming it's politically motivated in its decisions. And then yesterday, EFF leader Julius Malema took a swipe at the judiciary as well, suggesting some judges are bribed. Well, this afternoon, Justice and Correctional Services Minister Ronald Lamola hit back. Let's take a listen.
The Constitution and the rule of law are sacrosanct component of our democracy, and people in this country must respect these principles. To allow anything else will lead to anarchy and open the floodgates easily to a counter-revolution. House Chair, in the Constitution, we proclaim that all individuals, all organizations with South Africa, whether public and private, are bound by and are entitled to the benefits of the laws that are prospectively promulgated and publicly administered by our courts.
So Ronald Lamola actually went on to make a very clear aim at those criticising the judiciary. Honourable members, he said, an independent judiciary is a cornerstone of our constitutional democracy. Attacks, allegations and conspiracies against the judiciary can erode the confidence of society in the judiciary if not followed up with facts and conclusive investigations. We must remind the confessor-in-chief that public institutions do not fall flat because of conspiracy theories hatched in the forest. All right, well, let's discuss this now, and I'm joined now by the researcher and advocacy officer at the organisation striving for more insight and transparency into how judges are appointed. That organisation is called Judges Matter. I'm joined by Zikhona Ndlebe. Thank you so much for joining us. So, the kind of comments we've heard from Jacob Zuma, the letter he wrote about the Zondo Commission and also about the Constitutional Court, the comments that the EFF leader made, is that all within the ambit of free speech, or is there something inherently problematic about a former president and the leader of the third biggest party in the country making those claims?
So everyone has the right to freedom of free speech. That's general knowledge. But Julius Malema and the former president of our country, Jacob Zuma, have extended that right. And you must note that there are limitations to the right to freedom of speech, especially when they are making allegations of such a serious nature, and those allegations are relating to corruption within the judiciary. Julius Malema made a very strong allegation saying that we can't ignore the fact that there are bribes through in the judiciary. And he went on and said that judges must not think that they are above the law. And the problem with that statement, especially coming from Julius Malema, is the fact that he sits in the Judicial Service Commission as a commissioner. He knows that there are forums in place that are able to deal with such complaints. And he is fully aware that such allegations about the judiciary cannot be made. It's bare statements. They have to be supported by facts, and they have to be supported by names behind all of those allegations. And we haven't received any of that from either Jacob Zuma, the former president of our country, and Julius Malema. And that is a huge concern because the integrity of the judiciary is under attack by the statements that have been made.
So is it just political posturing?
It sounds like it's political posturing because it's baseless. It's bare statements that are made. There's nothing to support it. And at the end of the day, we've had our Chief Justice in the past saying that if there are any allegations of corruption within the judiciary, people must come to the fore with facts, with evidence, and with names. And again, there's none of that. It is clear political posturing.
All right, so judges are human beings. Like anyone else, they can be tempted and possibly bribed. Your organisation looks at how judges are appointed and chosen. So how do you appoint and choose and decide on someone's character that they would be immune to that sort of temptation? And do you think it's been successful?
Well, let me first explain the process. So there is advertisements from the Office of the Chief Justice calling on to people that want to be appointed as permanent judges, and there is a short list that goes that is prepared by the Office of the Chief Justice, the JSC. And then after that short list, judges are called to an interview process. Well, prospective judges are called into an interview process, and that interview process is conducted by the Judicial Service Commission, the JSC, which is chaired by the Chief Justice of our country. And that process is very crucial because the interview itself, there are comments that are made by various organizations, including the Democratic Governance and Rights Unit, and those, all of that, they are backed by facts. There's research that goes behind all of the comments that are made by the different forums, and the interview process, it's strict, it's serious, and questions that are asked to the potential candidates are also relevant, and they are, so basically the process itself, it does justice to find out, to determine whether a person is competent to become a judge on a permanent basis. And your second question was whether the judges are appropriately appointed. And from our experience, having sat in the JSC interviews, we do not think that there is a huge problem with the appointment process. Obviously, we've got our reservations in terms of the line of questioning that is taken by the Judicial Service Commission. There is sometimes uneven questioning, but that does not justify the allegations that have been made by Julius Malema and our former President Jacob Zuma, and because those allegations are not backed up by facts.
So you would need some hard evidence of a judge taking a bribe before anything is done. Has there been anything that raises a red flag? Is there anything that suggests there might be a few rotten apples out there?
Well, people say that where there's smoke, there is fire. But the problem is that this institution, it is a very important institution in our country. It holds different organizations to account and making their allegations without any basis. We cannot say whether there is any credibility to these allegations or not. And all we can say at this point is that what has been said by Julius Malema and our former president could amount to scandalizing the judiciary. And that is a very, very serious offense. It would be a contempt of court on its own, because they have not backed their statements with facts. And we need names. We need more information into these allegations. So at this point in time, you cannot really say whether these allegations are credible or not, because they are made out of nowhere, and there's nothing to back them up.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for explaining all of that to us. I do appreciate it. Researcher and advocacy officer at organisation Judges Matter, that was Zikhona Ndlebe. Let's